Hey friends, happy Monday. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. For everybody who got to watch Game of Thrones, congratulations. You're at the end of the lifespan and you're all gonna suffer some severe depression or post-show depression in a few months. Anyways, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about happy things, like today's video sponsor, iFixIt. Reece, get me my iFixIt kits, please. Well, actually, so I have one right here because we were doing a build on Friday, live stream, the ProTech Toolkit. Keep bringing, because they gave us a lot, so we're gonna show them off. I have the ProTech Toolkit right here, which has everything that you need to both build a computer, tear down a computer, everything that you could possibly want, but then they got things on top of the ProTech Toolkit, like just individual screwdriver sets, the essential electronics kit, the Manta driver kit, which has everything and anything that you need. Fun fact, I take some of these drill bits and I put them into my handheld drill so that I can do things faster. And then we also have the Mahi driver kit, which is just a smaller version. But not only does iFixIt sell kits, they have repair guides on their website for basically any device that you could ever think of, whether it's replacing the cracked screen on your iPhone or trying to put liquid metal on a Nintendo Switch. Oh, foreshadowing for a future video. I don't think they have the liquid metal portion, but the teardown of the Nintendo Switch. And they also have a per step comment section, so if you get stuck anywhere by anybody who wrote the guide, there's a helpful community who can work with you on that. But not only that, they also have parts. So if you want to buy the kits to actually do the repair, you can buy the parts to repair it as well. We replaced Reece's MacBook Pro display assembly. I have to buy one for my Pixel 2. My Pixel 2's cracked screen. I was gonna say Nexus. I'm so used to, but I should repair the Nexus 5 screen. Anyways, they have parts, so you can do that for whatever you're trying to repair. So check out ifixit.com/UFD Tech to get the best toolkits in the game, the best repair guides, and all the parts you need. So go there, and let's go ahead and talk about something that you can break down with an iFixIt kit, consoles. More specifically, the APUs that are going into the next gen consoles, because there's been information finally coming out. Not finally, more information coming out about the AMD Gonzalo APUs, which is rumored to be the APUs that AMD is going to be using in the next gen consoles of the PlayStation 5 and whatever the heck that Xbox is going to call theirs, codenamed Scarlet at this point. So there was a leak of a 3D Mark submission for the Gonzalo APU, and you can tell that based on how to break down the code name for the AMD setup. And it looks like it's an 8-core CPU as well as running a Navi 10 Lite GPU at 1 gigahertz. And it's actually pretty interesting because there was a leaked Gonzalo APU post as well back in January, and this one that happened just a few days ago is actually 600 megahertz faster on the base clock of the CPU, which is a 60% improvement. Because it was only 1 gigahertz back in January, now it's 1.6, which means that they're actually making development on the actual engineering sample, which leads us to believe that it's likely not going to be Zen Plus, because they probably would have had the clock speed figured out by now, but it's actually going to be a Zen 2 based CPU with the Navi 10 1 gigahertz graphics, which could mean that it's going to be pretty phenomenally fast. My bad, the Navi 10 GPU running at 1 gigahertz was back in January. It's 1.8 gigahertz now, 80% faster in April on the latest release. So AMD making some severe improvements with what we're expecting to come out, but the APU looking to be improved, looking to be pretty fast, and I would expect that once we get the unveiling of Navi at Computex, May 28th, 7th, at the Computex keynote that Lisa Su is supposed to be speaking at, or potentially at the May 1st 50th anniversary event that hasn't really been promoted at all. That's when we will finally hear about the next generation consoles in their full glory, because they contain both undisclosed CPUs and undisclosed GPUs, and it's going to be really delicious when it finally comes out. But you know what else is delicious news for AMD? Global PC shipments are down. While that doesn't sound like good news to AMD initially, part of that is because Intel has been really struggling to maintain the production that they need to in order to meet the demand of the OEMs who are trying to push out their products, which means that instead of OEMs not actually selling as much, what they've decided is that they're going to swap out Intel parts for AMD parts. However, it still has resulted in a decrease in shipments worldwide of about 5% in the first quarter for 2019, but there was an uptick for AMD because Intel is failing to actually keep producing 14 nanometers because not only do they have the CPUs that they're producing, but they're also producing chipsets on 14 nanometers. Even though they weren't supposed to do those concurrently, they don't have enough fabrication space to actually produce everything that they need. And then more good news for AMD, or should I say Radeon Technologies Group, or should I say ATI, because apparently there's been a lawsuit going on between the Patent Trial and Appeal Board between ATI and LG for quite some time now regarding some unified shader patents that ATI had submitted a long time ago. LG contested those in court. Apparently it was ruled in LG's favor. AMD finally won the lawsuit, and the basic commentary that I can see by legal experts around this is like they have no idea how this happened in the freaking first place, because it was clear that the patent should have been granted to ATI at the time. They showed that they had enough indication that they were actively working on these unified shaders, and it should have been allowed to them. This is good news for AMD, especially with the slump that they're currently in with Radeon Technologies Group, both with the cards that they're releasing, but also the loss of human capital going over to Intel. So they need to guard their patents and guard them closely and swing at anybody who tries to take them to court. And then speaking of consoles, which I talked about a while ago, but anyways, consoles now, well, we finally have the leak of Microsoft's latest console, which is the Xbox One S Discless edition, because there's no disk drive, because everything's going to be digital. It looks like it's going to come in at about 230 euros and basically have everything that you want except for the 4K Blu-ray player, which is fine, because I get all of my games digitally anyways. And then in case you look at Microsoft and you're just like, oh, I really want you to have a monopoly and I wish that you were good forever. Well, don't worry, they feel the exact same way, and they don't feel in the least threatened by Google and their giant amount of data centers across the world, and the fact that they're trying to bring game streaming kind of negate the need for a console at all. They don't feel threatened, which is why, a Microsoft executive says that, they would consider Google competitive, except for they don't have any content. So what's to be concerned about? Why would you worry about Google when they're not actually making any games that are worth playing? And to which I say that's a pretty bold statement coming from the company that hasn't produced a good single player game in quite some time and has no real reason for me to go out and buy an Xbox, because I can either buy it on my computer or I can just go over to the PlayStation 4 where I'll get Spider-Man, I'll get God of War, I'll get Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'll be happy. And Persona even, my goodness, Persona 5, which hopefully is no longer a PlayStation exclusive because I want it on my gosh dang Switch. But speaking of games that aren't going to be an exclusive, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The trailer is out. It's coming out November 15th. It's a single player Star Wars game which has been promised to have no microtransactions. Need I remind you that this is coming from EA, who has said certain things about microtransactions in the past, who is fighting in court to keep microtransactions in certain games, who just kind of never really hits the mark on what they're supposed to do. And no matter what promises they make, you kind of look at them and go, yeah, okay. That's how I feel about no microtransactions in the new Star Wars game. However, there is, freaking Respawn ahead of it, who is the maker of Titanfall 2, as well as Apex Legends, although there's been some controversy surrounding how Apex is choosing to monetize and the things they're doing there. So, I mean, it looks like it will be a great game if Respawn's history is anything to look at, but the no microtransactions thing, I think they just mean for like the first month of launch. So we'll just when it finally happens, we'll say we knew all along. And then in case you hate battle royales, which is why you refuse to play Apex Legends, well, don't worry, Nepal got you back, because they are banning PUBG due to its adverse effect on young children, saying that it's having a negative impact on children. No citing of what that negative impact is, from what I can gather. No studies reference, no correlation between playing PUBG and then going out into the wilderness and trying to snipe people from 2 kilometers away. Haven't really heard much of that coming out of Nepal. Could just be that there's increased rowdiness in the school system. I don't know. Governments have their reasons for doing things. So trust in the government. Speaking of negative impact on kids, social media. And the fact that who would have thought that giving a company a monopoly on a lot of the social media that people use would be a bad thing when all of their servers go down for the second time in a month. Yes, my friends, that's right. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all hit by their second outage in a month yesterday. Facebook still hasn't said what the cause is. Apparently the one that happened previously was due to a database migration that went haywire, but it could be that they tried to do it again and got all wonky. But yeah, when you conglomerate everybody's social media under one giant zuck, it can go zuckingly awry sometimes. Don't get zucked, my friends. Diversify to Twitter. The least zucky place on the internet. Twitter, you can have that one for free. I'm available for brand consulting. You know who doesn't need no brand consulting? The world's largest plane, the Stratolaunch, is a massive plane that just looks like two 747s stuck together, a dual-headed dragon beast that is going to be used for space flights, kind of like the Virgin Active Atlantic stuff. Virgin Active's the gym. Anyways, Virgin Space People. Technically, it's subspace, but you know, when you're paying tens of thousands of dollars, you're gonna say you went to space, gosh dang it. And then in case you wanted Asus to make computer cases for whatever reason and want to give them more of a monopoly on the gaming hardware industry, the ROG Strix Helios is now available with RGB on the front, because of course it is. And I mean, Razer's making a case, Asus is making a case. Just screw Corsair, I guess. Screw those guys. In case you want a 14-core CPU that goes up to 5 gigahertz and you're willing to pay anything that you want, it is now available at retail. The Core i9-9990XE is available right now for a cheap $2,735 if you want to pick it up at retail. It was previously only available at Secret Auction. It looks like one of the retailers picked a bunch up at Secret Auction and is now selling them at retail. So yeah, $2,735. Whew. And I don't know why I didn't consolidate this Facebook post with the other Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram thing, but here it is now. You want the creepiest news of your day? And by creepy, it's only creepy if you don't realize that you're signing your life away and all of the privacy that you think you have on Facebook when you sign up with them. Like, you're giving them permission to use all of your data because it's not your data, it's their data. You are choosing to post your life on somebody else's server. Let's just call it for what it is. You, my friends, when you share that post around that's saying, I hereby do not give Facebook the authority to use my face in advertisement, you already signed that away when you signed up for their service. You posting about it doesn't change any legal representation or the document that you already signed. But guess what? Facebook now has a patent where they can identify both brands that are in pictures, let's say your family photos where, you know, Uncle Henry is drinking a Coors Light. I don't know why that's the brand I chose because I don't know anybody who drinks Coors Light. Anyways, Facebook can then identify your Uncle Henry, they can identify the Coors Light, and then they will sell it to the Coors company. I doubt that's the name of the company who sells that, and then say, hey, here's a promotional image of somebody drinking your drink. Why don't you promote that around the internet? Facebook makes money, you get exploited. When you don't pay anything for the service, you are the product. Creepy, creepy. Well, okay, you want to get even more unsettled. Here's an infographic of how a lot of the major companies in the tech industry make their money. If we look at Apple, they make $265 billion in total revenue. 62% is from the iPhone, 14% is from services, and the rest is from their products. Amazon makes 52% from their online stores, 18% from third-party sellers, 11% from Amazon Web Services, a whole bunch of good stuff. Then Google, who a lot of people associate with ads, actually makes 70% from their Google Properties advertising, but then only makes 14% from their Google Advertising Network. So the actual AdSense is only 14% of their revenue, and then the rest of the Google stuff, like Google Play Music and all of that kind of stuff, is 14.5%. Microsoft, similarly, their Microsoft Azure cloud servers is 23%, Windows is 17%, blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to Facebook, $55 billion in total revenue. 98.5% is made by ads. Facebook is ads, that's it. That's how they make money. You are the product Facebook is selling you, but you know what's even creepier? So Facebook makes Oculus and Oculus Touch. Their VR controllers come with phrases imprinted on them, like things saying, the Masons were here, or hello, iFixIt, speaking of the sponsor of today's video, saying, hi, iFixIt, we see you. Or, Big Brother is watching. or this space for rent. Clearly this was done by somebody who thought it was insanely humorous, which obviously internally that would be. I'm totally down with companies enjoying things like that. But then when you're bought out by Facebook and everything that you shipped is coming through the lens of a company that only sells people's data for money, does it really, it's the wrong message. Just don't do this. And it's even creepier when you just juxtapose it to the picture of Zuck walking by everybody wearing the VR like goggles. And it's a complete, like, just impose the words that are found on the inside of the controllers over this image. Big Brother is watching. Like, this is propaganda. Anyways, you know what else is propaganda? Disney Plus, that's coming out sometime soon, $7 a month, or I believe $70 a year for essentially all Disney content, which includes Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, National Geographic, a whole bunch of good stuff. Basically everything that everybody watches Netflix for right now because they got the licensing deal with Disney for the Marvel movies. Yeah, it's gonna be on Disney Plus, and now you're gonna need to have Netflix and Disney Plus. And you know what else you're gonna need? A 783-inch 16K screen in Japan. It's 16K horizontal. They don't know what the vertical resolution is. It's insane. Has micro LED, it's gorgeous, and makes your TV at home look like a little infant. And then speaking of infants, Twitch Sings is now available on Twitch, where you can do karaoke with your audience. And why I say infants is because I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna sound like an infant. And if you wanna support us over on Twitch, you can go to twitch.tv/UFDisciple. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to us over at Twitch for free, and it gives us a little bit of money. It's different than following, but if you wanna use your Amazon Prime /Twitch Prime to give us free money and watch our streams that we're really trying to ramp up now that we're in the new office, you can do that. And if bad karaoke with a man who doesn't know how to carry a tune is your thing, then you've come to the right channel. And then lastly, in the hilarious headline of the day, breaking down Hellboy's cryptic post-credit scenes. That headline's unnecessary because nobody could stay through the entire movie and everybody walked out of the theater because the new Hellboy's so bad. Got him, moving on. That's the end of hot news. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content, hot news, builds, techie stuff. You know, that's what we do here. If you want more dedicated clips and potential deep dives, we're really trying to just work at the content on the news channel. You can subscribe to our hot news channel down below or in that top right-hand corner. And then don't forget that this video is brought to you by iFixIt. My friends, go to iFixIt.com/UFDtech and get the best repair guides, kits, and parts in the game and repair your device instead of throwing it out. Anyways, I'm Brett with the UFD Tech channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see your smiling faces again in the next video. Love you too.